So Jacob Fatu Saturday night main event just showed everybody in the world what we already know here at Wrestling with Weed that he is a superstar. And he has been a superstar. Taking out Braun Strowman in the process. Shout out to Braun Strowman for putting over Jacob Fatu like that. Remember, we want to hear from our supporters at Wrestling with Weed. So put your thoughts in the comments. Remember, like, share. If this is your first time hitting a video, tell a friend, tell your neighbor. Wrestling with Weed. Spark it up and let's talk some wrestling.
We are Wrestling with Weed, the podcast.
What's poppin'? It's the Boo Shadow is Batty around Hollywood Haley J, and you're listening to Wrestling with Weed.
Wrestling with Weed. Check them out.
I'm Sabu, and you're watching Wrestling with Weed podcast.
You're listening to Wrestling with Weed.
It's your Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Wrestling with Weed. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
So Jacob Fatu destroyed Braun Strowman on Saturday night main event. Plus, don't know what's going on with Solo, but Jacob and Tamatanga make a perfect tag team if they want to put the tag team titles back on them. I've been following Jacob for about 2 years maybe with him at MLW, and he had the big MLW gold belt, which they just gave Matt Riddle that belt. So that's a badass belt, the MLW. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put a picture up right now so you can see it. And if you haven't watched MLW, most of their stuff is free on YouTube. So go take a look. You won't be disappointed. Storylines, in-ring matches, all around great organization, which something must be holding them back because they're way better than AEW. But they don't have a TV deal. But when Jacob was there, Jacob was having tremendous out of this world matches. Hardcore, straight mat wrestling, high spot wrestling, everything. And I knew Jacob Fatu was a star. Fatu. So was Zilla Fatu. Shout out to Zilla. Cool, humble motherfucker. Cool as hell. But we were at SmackDown in Chicago when he debuted. And you could tell a lot of the people in the WWE universe, a lot of the people there really don't watch all the wrestling, maybe AEW once in a while, besides WWE. Because I marked out. I looked, he came out the crowd. We were like, oh shit. And I'm like, that's Jacob. And everybody in the crowd was like, not everybody, I'm going to say. There was maybe one or two that I heard, yeah, they're like, yeah. But the majority were like, who's that? Because maybe they couldn't see him or whatever. But drives Cody Rhodes through the table, just like he did at WrestleMania. And we were there too at WrestleMania. It's like Jacob Fatu has been a star. Like it's another case like Pentagon. He's been a star. He just wasn't used. I'm not gonna say Jacob wasn't used because Jacob was the world champion in MLW, and everywhere he went was a champion. And I guess they needed just a right time to bring him in. But Jacob right now, I'm not gonna say he deserves it. Yeah, you know what, I am. Give him the world title and make him the leader of the new bloodline. And then he'll take out Roman Reigns and the Uso brothers by himself. He's a monster. You know what I'm saying? When he first came in, he looked a little smaller than he was in MLW. So it was kind of hard to be like, and it's crazy the difference a couple of pounds make. You know what I'm saying? When he came in, he was still an elite monster, but in MLW, he was a little bit more heavier. And I granted, maybe being lighter is easier on his body from the athletic moves he does, and I would totally understand that. But if you've seen him on Saturday night main event, you'll notice that he put on a little bit of weight, which he's starting to look like Umaga, body wise. And Umaga was a beast, and he probably could pull off some of the moves that Jacob, but for Jacob's size, the way he moves, it's unbelievable. So, like, we've been rocking with Jacob for a while. I got a couple of videos. We only had this podcast for a year now, I think. And I had some in the beginning, little clips of Jacob saying he was a beast. Been following him. Right now, I think Brock Lesnar. I know for sure Jacob is in the Royal Rumble. But Brock Lesnar, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman that are tied for the most eliminations in a Royal Rumble. Now, if Jacob Fatu throws out 14, which I see that happening, he could have the new record. Might not win the Royal Rumble, but he's gonna have an outstanding shine, throwing everybody out. I figure you have more than 2 WWE superstars throwing them out the ring. You have to have 3 or more to get them out. Remember Yokozuna? If you guys watched the Royal Rumbles back then, it was like 8 wrestlers, and that was just because he was a monster. You know what I mean? He was a monster and he was big, so it was like, But Jacob Fatu, he's legit, and I feel like sky's the limit for him. He could do babyface because the crowd was cheering the hell out of him. One more time, one more time. I loved how they made him look like a cold-blooded killer. He was out, came running back to the ring, gave him another one, but you can clearly see the fatigue in him because he didn't do the jump, and maybe he didn't want to do the jump. But to tell you the truth, Jacob Fatu will fuck with you. From Wrestling with Weed, I'm gone.